This episode may contain explicit language.
Today, we're talking about sex.
My kids are around a lot. When they all three go to an activity, his brain is instantly like, this is the moment.
People who have more testosterone typically have an easier time shifting into this intimacy mode.
I told my husband, look how pretty my nails. He goes, you know where those nails would look pretty? And I'm like, come on.
What do you wish that he would do instead?
I wish he would whisper.
It sounds like Rebecca's telling us we need to tell our partners what we want.
Couples end up feeling like their sex life is gone. I would argue that it probably wasn't even that spontaneous back in the glory days. There were dates that were planned. There was shaving of legs. There was picking of outfits. There was doing of hair. There was doing of nails. There was anticipation.
Oh my gosh, my husband's calling me. I'm going to pick up.
Oh, wow. Yes.
This is Karen Feeding. We're three friends with kids who get together every week to talk life, swap advice, and keep each other sane while we muddle through the weird and wonderful thing called parenting. I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom to three, Henry, who's 13, Oliver, who's 11, and Teddy, who's 9. We live in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Hey, I'm Lucy Lopez. I host another podcast, The Mamacita Rica. I'm mother to Amelia, who is 15, Avery, who's 13, and we live in the 305.
I'm Zak Rosen. I make another show. It's called Weirdly Helpful. I am dad to Noah, who's 8, Ami, who's 5. We're in the 313. That's Detroit.
We're here to talk about the ups, downs, and everything in between when it comes to parenting. Every week, we commiserate and try to make this feel like the kind of conversation you have with your friends.
And today, we're talking about sex. Dr. Micah Eudy is joining us to answer all your questions on how to keep the spice alive, even after having kids. Who knows, maybe my amazing husband will make a cameo if I'm feeling frisky. I guess you're going to have to find out.
Yeah, it's amazing. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's talk about sex, baby. Not the version before kids. This is the after kids edition, the one where you're tired, maybe touched out, and wondering if everyone else got some secret memo that you missed. So today we're talking honestly about intimacy after kids, what changes, what gets lost, and what's actually possible. We're joined by Dr. Rebecca Howard Eudy, author of A Guide to Great Sex After Kids. Rebecca, please introduce yourself. Who are you? What you do? And what made you feel like this was a conversation parents really needed?
Well, first of all, I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm happy to be talking to you about this topic that's near and dear to my heart. So I am a couples therapist and a sex therapist. And, you know, the reason why I wrote this book is it really grew out of both my clinical experience and also my personal experience. And so I was hearing the same thing again and again from both clients and friends, and then also experiencing it in my own life after kids, which is that it's really hard to keep that spark alive. And it's not just about sex. It's about the whole flirty, fun, erotic energy that was so seemingly effortless in the beginning of a relationship that I think a lot of couples start to ask themselves, is that just gone for good now? Are we just done with that part of our life? And it's really quite devastating, actually. I mean, we're laughing because it's true, but it's also, it is devastating. It's hard to...
I don't relate.
You don't relate.
Thank you, Zak.
Yeah, so I mean that's sort of where this started from.
And are you in a relationship, Dr. Eudy?
So yes, I am in a relationship. I've been married for about a decade, and I have 2 kids. My kids are 10 and 11. So my husband and I have been at this for a while.
And do you remember the last time you two had a flirty moment and how it emerged?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Great.
I don't really remember how it emerged. I wrote the book. I got to practice what I preach.
Yeah. So how do you practice? What do you do at home to practice this stuff?
A lot of this is about the energy that you bring to it, right? And I don't mean energy in like a woo-woo way. I mean like actually just like energetically, how are you entering into your relationship? How are you in the room? And a lot of it is because it needs to be meaningful, right? Like it's not just, if you're going by and you're kind of slapping your beloved on the butt and they're like, what the hell? That I didn't like that. That's not fun and flirty. You have to be on the inside in order for it to be an inside joke. So that's the first thing, is that you have to stay on the inside with each other. You have to stay up to date with what's going on with each other's lives. And it actually has to feel light and fun when you have a flirty moment. And so in order to do that, you have to be able to keep the relationship feeling warm and light. And the first thing, and that can be really overwhelming because many of us have experienced relationships, even good relationships, sometimes end up feeling really heavy. And you try to go in and you try to be light and you try to make a joke and it falls flat on its face. Or, you try to say something and it lands wrong and you're like, God, that went really badly, even though I tried to, have it go well. So the first thing that I really recommend that couples do is focusing on the micro moments of connection. So that might be starting with something like a hug where it lasts long enough for each of you to take a deep breath.
I'm taking in a deep breath and I'm taking notes because that hug is everything, girl. Everything. That hug will dictate a weekend in my house.
I'm the mom to 3 boys. Similar ages to yours, actually. Like, they all want the hug. And I am not a touchy person. So, not that I agree though. Like a hug from my husband, like when he gets home, just like that, the like transfer of, but sometimes it feels like I want the hug and then I want to walk away to a place where no one touches me.
For sure. I mean, I think that's really real. Because our kids do touch us a lot. That's a big part of this, is that one of the things that takes away from that spark, that touch, and not just sex, right? We're talking about the casual touch, the hug, the warmth in the relationship, is that feeling of being touched out. And even if you have older kids, they still, I have 2 boys as well. They want to sit on touch me all the time.
They want to be right up. Yes, right. They just touch you a lot.
So one of the things that I really, especially for someone who, like from a sensory perspective, needs a little bit more space for their body, which I'm right there with you, Elizabeth. I'm like that as well. And being in a household where there's 2 boys, my boys are very boy. They have a lot of boy energy and they're wrestling, and the dog is a boy too, and he's in on it, and it's like chaos. And I find myself a lot of times feeling really overwhelmed, like with that kind of energy, whether it's the physical energy or just kind of being around this, like a lot of chaos. And so, one of the things that I've found that helps me to really respond better to that is, if we're talking about the hug, what my husband will do is he'll come up, and I ask couples to do this. So we practice this ourselves. We go up to each other, and instead of wrapping each other up in a hug, you go, have you seen Hitch? The movie Hitch with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Where you go the, 80, 70, 30? Yeah. So you don't go 100% of the way. You go you go 70 or 80% of the way. Hold out your arms and say, I've got a hug for you. And so then it's, you don't just jump on your partner on the couch. Don't go up and slap their ass. Go up and whisper in their ear, your ass looks really good in those jeans. So it's about the almost. It's about the charge, not necessarily about the actual. You have to have that, that give and take.
Even as you say that, I'm like, gosh, I would feel a hug so much more if I was invited into it as opposed to it happening to me. Because they happen to me all day, which is lovely. Look, I'm so thankful that my children want to be near me. Like it's not that, and that my husband wants to be near me. Like that is also a wonderful thing. But I love this because just like I can feel that my body, this idea of like, I have a hug for you sounds, which is so much more like I hug all my friends, but that's kind of more how it happens. Like, oh, do you want a hug? As opposed to just it being, this is supposed to be a connecting moment. So that's a great, love that.
Yeah, that's right. And then that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, let me just finish, I'm doing this one thing. Hang on, wait, and actually get to the point where you can then receive the touch. That's the communication piece. And some of that can be really making it explicit, that having the way that you touch your partner, if your partner were to come up and hold out their arms, come close to you and hold out their arms and say, I have a hug for you. That's really different than the hug and tackle that we often get from our kids. So we really want to make sure that the interactions that we have with our partners feel really different, because a lot of times it's not that we're touched out for all types of touch. It's that we're touched out and overwhelmed by certain kinds of touch. And so making what we have with our partner really fundamentally different than what we might have with our kids.
I'm perimenopausing. I'm going through adult puberty right now. And and that's a whole world in itself. And I feel sometimes that like I consider like I'm an ATM card, right? And everybody has used me all day, mentally, emotionally, all the things, right? And then Gino, my husband, he'll say something that instead of like the little, like you said, the ass slap, and you're like, what are you doing? He'll just say it. And my gut reaction,
He'll say what?
He'll say things about me, It's like a middle school child.
Like you're hot, but
yeah.
more explicit.
Like he's not discreet.
At all. There's no, zero discreet. Okay. And then he'll say it, and I'm just like, read the fucking room. Like I'm exhausted. There's things we need to do. The garage looks a mess. We have to do laundry. We need to pay for this theater program that your kids are in. That we're doing this, we're doing that, and I literally lose my shit. Right? In my cabeza, in my head, I lose my shit. Outside in real life, I look at him with what he says are murderous eyes. Like I look at him like I'm gonna murder him, and he's like, "Never mind." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you that look, because I really don't."
Because he's trying in his mind.
He's trying so hard, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like the wrong I feel this so much, Lucy. It's like the wrong moment, but at the same time, like I'm thankful that this is happening. Like
I'm so thankful.
I'm thankful that he finds me attractive, right? Like this is great.
That he thinks that my messy bun and my booty shorts
exactly.
and sports bra while holding a mop and the house is smelling like mitolin on fire. Like I'm happy that moment in your brain is initiating, hey, we should probably fuck all night. Like, no, that's not happening right now. Like I am in my head, and this is why I want to murder you. And then on top of that, like, we have kids and they're running around and it's loud and the piano and the whole thing. And he's like, we need to go to a sex therapist. And I'm like, yes, you're right. We probably do. But I'm also exhausted. I'm exhausted, Rebecca, Dr. Eudy Booty. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, this isn't my fault. What's it really, instead of doing the 70-30, what's something I can do to avoid giving him murderous eyes and just to not be as insane as I'm coming across right now on this podcast?
Well, first of all, not insane. Totally relatable. Totally relatable. What do you wish that he would do instead?
I wish he would, like, whisper. I love that whole idea. Just whisper it. Don't announce it.
We're going to be sending Gino this clip. This is perfect.
No. Listen, this past weekend, my cousins were laughing at me because I don't have my nails done right now. But the other day I had my nails done, and I told my husband, look how pretty my nails. He goes, you know where those nails would look pretty? And I'm like, come on. So, like,
yeah. Okay, so it's too loud. It's like, oh, it's too loud. It's too overwhelming.
Yes.
So what if he came up and said the same thing in the same setting? You got your messy bun, your booty shorts, your sports bra, your mop, and he comes up and he whispers it.
I think that would be it. I think that would like chill me out. I probably would laugh. I think my reaction would come more out of like, you're so dumb, instead of like, what's wrong with you?
Have you asked him to whisper?
No, let me call him.
I was gonna say, should I text him right now, Lucy?
Oh no, I'm calling
Lucy would
Gino
like
right now.
you to
See if he'll pick
whisper.
up. You should pick up.
Sorry, I can't get your call.
No.
They're not gonna be like,
received.
hey, I'm here with the sex therapist.
I'm here with a sex therapist. Please call me
She
back.
says, if you would just whisper.
You said that, Lucy. I didn't say that.
It sounds like Rebecca's telling us we need to tell our partners what we want,
It's a good starting point.
right?
But he may start whispering it, Lucy, and you're still like, that is not doing it for me.
And then I sometimes feel like, do you not see? Kid, look what's happening. The world is on fire. And he's like, pull over that ass too fat. And I'm like, no, not right now, sir.
Right? It's like overwhelming.
I'm going to tell him to chill. And I'm going to tell him to whisper, Dr. Eudy. Like, I'm totally going to tell him to whisper. Because I think that would really, no, I'm being serious. Like, I feel like that would work. You know, sometimes it's okay to be loud. Like, if we're all like maybe 2 cocktails in and we're at a party and if he says something like kind of loud to me, I'm like, you're so funny. But when I'm in it and I'm like in the middle of like doing the thing that I know how to do best, whether it's I'm up here working or, you know, taking care of kids, I just feel like, gosh, like, not right now, papa.
You need a softer approach.
So the other thing I hear from Lucy, which is more me like projecting, you know, my stuff, is it's like the separation of things. Like, I don't understand how necessarily he can go so quickly from like to me, the world is on fire. There's all this stuff we're managing. There are all of these things. I can't be in that place of intimacy, like with all of that. It's like I have to put that all to bed somehow before I can switch over. But like he can walk in the door and right, whatever, and then it's like, oh, let's do this. Like you know, like we've just gotten because so I homeschool, so my kids are around a lot. So it's like when they all 3 go to an activity, his brain is instantly like, this is the moment. And in my mind, I'm like, I have this amount of time to do all of these things. Like I can, you know, so I know there's like scheduling, right? So like something that we've like do that works well is being like, okay, ahead of time, we're both kind of type A. We're going to like schedule that this time is our time. Not necessarily that we have to have sex, but like that this is a intimacy time. And that works for me because I can just be like, this is the block where I'm not doing anything else. But I do think that like spontaneity is what makes kind of sex after kids feel like it's gone, right? Like how are we able to have that like when we were young and it was like, oh, we have nothing going on, or I can make that switch so easily. So are there like tricks that I can use to, in that moment, like he's initiating, I'm overwhelmed, but like mentally I want to do, like I want to be spontaneous. I love this person. I want to be able to connect with them in that way. How do I get myself there? How do I get us both there, right? Like how do I...
This is like the perfect question, Elizabeth. Thank you.
First of all, people who have more testosterone typically have an easier time shifting more quickly into this sort of intimacy mode, right? They can walk in the door and be like, let's do this right now, because they have more spontaneous desire. Testosterone governs spontaneous desire. And so that's a factor here. Responsive desire starts from a place of willingness. So it starts from a place of what you're talking about, Elizabeth, is mentally, I want to get there. But from a nervous system place, from a physical place, it really does start with that, like, okay, I know it's going to be good once we get going. I know this is going to be good for our relationship. I want to get there, not from a place of desire. And so someone who has more spontaneous desire feels arousal and desire very quickly together. Arousal, desire, boom, boom, let's go. Someone who has more responsive desire is going to feel willingness, then they're going to get themselves into a situation where they start to be sexual. Maybe they start kissing, maybe their partner's, rubbing their back or whatever. Then they start to feel a little bit aroused. And it's not until after physical arousal kicks in that desire happens.
Yeah. Yes.
So understanding this paradigm, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just different. And so if you're someone who has more responsive desire, just understanding that about yourself. Maybe I'm going to start from a place of willingness, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean the spark is gone. It doesn't mean our sex life is dead. It doesn't mean we need a sex therapist. We just need to understand together that I'm going to start from a place of willingness, and maybe there's some things that your partner can do to help you. But number one is accepting that that's okay. Okay, so that's sort of like number one. The other thing is I think that couples end up feeling like their sex life is gone. It's dead. This is what you just said. It's like the lack of spontaneity. But I would argue that it probably wasn't even that spontaneous back in the glory days of the sex life that all of us look back to, because here's what was happening. There were dates that were planned. There was shaving of legs. There was picking of outfits. There was doing of hair. There was doing of nails. There was anticipation, not walk into the kitchen and, hey, woohoo, let's go right now. You have to, the build up. So someone who has more responsive desire is going to need a longer runway. They're just going to need a longer runway. And that was built in to the pre-kids life because there was more anticipation there. And so what often needs to happen is that, if you're in parent mode, right? That's a hat. You're in work mode, you're in parent mode. You have to be able to take off that hat. And for some people, they can take off the hat real quick and get into their sexy mode. But for other people, a lot of times what they need to do is they need to take off that work mode, that parent mode hat. They need to put on their individual hat. So their Lucy, their Elizabeth, their Zach hat in between. And that can be something like a shower. It can be something like actually putting on clothes that make you feel sexy, or taking off clothes that make you not feel sexy. Whatever it is, just having a moment to breathe. Then it helps them to transition. And so different people need different amounts of transition time. And again, if we start to say it's good or bad to be able to transition faster or less fast, then we start to get shame involved. I should be doing something different. What's wrong with me that I can't? And then that shuts down any hope of desire, arousal, pleasure.
Let's be honest. Life gets messy, families fight, coworkers overstep, partners do weird stuff in bed. Luckily, Slate's advice columnists have seen it all. Sign up for the free Slate Advice newsletter and get our latest takes on sex, parenting, money, and every moral gray area in between, plus exclusive bonus letters delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe now at slate.com/advice.
As you're describing this, I see too, I can play back moments in which, he came in hot, I'm on the ramp, right? And then because we're mismatched and we, prior to this conversation, don't have language for that, now we have a conflict. Because he's like, why are you rejecting me? And I'm like, holy shit, I'm overwhelmed. Right? And this is not a place to have this conversation because he feels rejected. Because here he is, opening himself to me, being like, I want this from, I love you and I want to do this. And I'm like, that's what it's like. And so then we do have this fight, right? Where we're and so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to explain it. So if I can understand how he's coming. Lucy's laughing because she's my I text her what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my husband? This is yeah. That's how I feel. I feel like he comes home and I literally am just like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh, my husband's calling me. I'm gonna pick up.
Oh wow, yes. Tell him that we're recording, though, please.
Yes, of course, Zach. Hi, honey.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
Nothing's matter. Everything is fine. But I'm recording. I'm recording the show, and I'm on with Dr. Rebecca Eudy, who's a sex therapist, counselor therapist.
Am I good?
You're fine. You're not gross. However, she says, right? You know how like you come in real hot, and you sometimes come in hot, and I'm like, what are you doing? The world is ending. There's a science homework due is tomorrow. We need money for bills. And you're like, what? Or like, I'll get my nails done. And you're like, you know where that would look nice. And I'm just looking at you like you're crazy.
Am I on a show right now?
Yes, we're recording you right now.
How about a heads up?
I just gave you a heads
Poor
up.
guy.
So
Okay.
remember,
What a
remember,
trooper.
like, okay, so she says that at that time I'm wearing a hat that is different from your hat. Your hat is like ready to go, and my hat, the best hat, great. And my hat is like I'm in my world. I'm like I'm not wearing my Lucy hat at that moment. I'm wearing like the lady who cleans the wrong hat. I'm wearing the lady who's cleaning the house, or I'm dealing with something with the girls, or I'm wearing my work hat. And you're like, no, let's go pull over that ass too fat hat. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. And she's saying, are you still there?
It's my Superman hat. I'm here to save the day.
When you come in with your hat ready to go, you have to wait until I put on my Lucia hat. So we, the ramp
You
up.
fell asleep.
Goodbye. I have no time for you right now. And she says that we need to, that we have to meet at the same time. You're with your hat, I'm with my hat. Like, not me in the middle of doing something and you being like, hey, let's do it now. Like, that can't happen. Because a lot of the ramp up.
Our kids.
Well, a lot of
They
the.
won't leave us alone.
I know they don't leave us alone, and she's trying to tell me you're not listening to me. I have to go now. Bye.
Is this thing still on?
It's still on, Gino.
See you later.
See you later.
We love you. We love you, Gino.
Love you.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Gino.
participating.
Lucy, I told you to invite him to whisper in your ear.
Oh shit! Hold on. Let me call him right back.
That's what you were supposed to say to him. You were supposed to say, I would love it if you would come up and whisper in my ear. Like, tell him that the hairs on the back of your neck are going to rise.
Take two.
Hello.
Okay, you're back on. You're on speakerphone and you're on the show. I forgot to tell you. You know how sometimes you come to me like, damn, let's do it now. I would prefer for you to come to me.
Tell him. Put him up to the. I'll tell him.
Babe, I would prefer for you to whisper that in my ear and not make it like awkward like sometimes you do. Goodbye.
Yes. Yes.
He's doing it.
No, Gino.
He's doing
goodbye.
it.
He's now he's
Kind
He
of
did
worked
it.
for me.
He did it.
he's just pretending he's the Yin Yang twins. But thank you, Rebecca.
Lucy, Cheyna said you can point to this moment when he shows up in the bedroom with a bunch of hats. Okay, but no, seriously. Okay, Rebecca, how could that first conversation have gone better?
Yes, please help me.
Well, I think it was a lot of information, and usually communication goes better when you approach with how you feel from a vulnerability perspective. It's like he's like, okay, I'm talking. Are we talking about hats? Are we talking about your feelings? Are we talking about sex?
Right.
However, when you said, I really want you to whisper to me,
He
just
immediately
started
whispered.
whispering.
He's such a great husband. Thank you for reminding me that. Because he did. Immediately he whispered. Was it a line from the Yin Yang Twins whisper song? Yes, but you know what? He whispered. So credit to him. He was listening to me. He listened.
It sounds like he's game, too.
Yeah, but also, Lucy, that's like you guys do the pop culture referencey thing. Like that, so not only did he whisper, he engaged in, like at the beginning, Rebecca was talking about these moments, right? Like these moments of we're both inside the joke.
Yeah.
And the second conversation was definitely that. Like we're
Yeah.
both inside this joke, but I'm also communicating what I need.
Yes, he did.
If you want to take this to the next, like, Jedi mind level.
Yes, that's what I want. I want to come across as a sorceress.
So you go and you whisper to him.
Done.
Now you're going to think all day about what you're going to whisper.
What
Or do
am
you
I
already
going
know?
to
Did
whisper?
you just decide? But that's the anticipation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would work.
Yes. I saw what you did there, Rebecca.
So one of the things that happens a lot of times is that for people who tend to be the lower desire partner in their relationship, so they're not initiating as much as their partner, sexually, they may be initiating a lot of other things, like the emotional, the mental load. So they may be nagging at their partner about other stuff and initiating a lot of things. But for people who tend to be the lower desire partner, who are initiating less, what ends up happening over time is that their focus starts to be on trying to get in the place so that they can accept their partner's initiation, so their partner doesn't feel rejected, Elizabeth, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then also avoiding their partner to a certain extent. So if their partner wants to grab them, or, wants to have sex all the time, or is sort of, it can feel overwhelming. So there's also an aspect where they start to avoid preemptive contact. So they stop initiating what they want. So Lucy, the reason why I say this is sort of like the next level is because usually what the higher desire partner really wants is to feel desired, to feel that spark that's mutual. And so if what you're really longing for is a hug, or you're longing for your partner to, I don't know, give you a massage and then let you fall asleep and not initiate sex, that's okay to ask for, because it's desire. It's all desire. And so what the lower desire partner often ends up doing is they avoid initiating at all. And then they're in the position where they're sort of the gatekeeper for their higher desire partner's wants and needs. And they get to say yes or no, but they don't get to ask for what they want as much. And that starts to shut down desire over time as well. So if you can put yourself in a situation where there's enough communication with your partner that they know, hey, listen, this is my night and I want to take a bath. Then I want you to rub my feet. I want to fall asleep with my head in your lap, and I want you to tuck me in. That's fine. Whatever it is that you want, as long as it's, mutually, pleasurable and both consenting adults, whatever you ask for is what you want. It's all desire.
I love this because one of the big moments that I think this shift happens is sort of after birth. I just felt just like where your body is, what feels good, right? If you're breastfeeding, like all of that just really changed for me, my relationship with my body, my relationship with what felt good. And I do feel like one of the things I did is like, I wanted to avoid any intimacy because I didn't necessarily want it to lead to sex. I wasn't ready for that. And so this idea that like, there are all these other things that we can do that fulfill that desire, right? Like it doesn't always have to lead to that. I mean, for Jeff and I, that was like, we had a conversation about it. And this is exactly what sort of came out of it, was that there were many ways that had nothing to do even with physical intimacy that
doesn't have to end up in intercourse. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he also like didn't want to do something that I wasn't into, like that, even if I was doing it willingly, right? Like if it didn't feel good or it didn't feel like what I wanted, that wasn't something he wanted to participate in, which was a wonderful conversation to have. But like nobody prepared, like relationships before kids, I think doesn't always prepare you for that. Because in so many ways we needed that connection more because we had this baby and like life felt crazy and we were not getting other connection times. But I wasn't sure how to have a conversation that was like, is it enough if you just brush my hair or if I rub your back or right? So I love that it's like we can, at any point we can be doing that and it can meet like both the higher desire partner and the other partner.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that can get in the way of that is like resentment, and so that can really put it can really make the communication challenging. And so I think probably a lot of people who are listening to this are like, I mean, if I ask my partner to like brush my hair or like ask them to like rub my back and then they get nothing out of it, like they may not be all that into that. They may not be willing to do that for me. And so I would encourage people, to really be clear about what that would give you. Like, I want to be close to you. I want to be connected to you. And this would help me to feel that way. Are you willing to do that with me? And so when we ask, if we don't ever ask for what we want, we're very unlikely to get it. But it is a risk. It can feel really hard to ask for what we want. And, it doesn't really matter so much what we want, but a lot of times I work with people who really have no access to their own sexual desire, like lower desire partners. They're like, we have sex or we don't, but, I do it for them. We have sex and then it sort of resets the clock and then they're going to leave me alone for a week. And that's, sort of what I want. And so if you find yourself in that situation, looking at what you want outside the bedroom can be an easier place to start. So it's not like I'm using the example of like, I want a massage and then I want to go to bed, because that's what anybody should want. But if you're having a hard time accessing what your desire is in the bedroom, if you're having a hard time figuring out what you want to go and whisper in your beloved's ear, fair. And start outside the bedroom. Think about what you want outside the bedroom.
One last question before we wrap things up. If there's a parent listening to our show right now and they're feeling disconnected and they're feeling maybe a little discouraged, what would you want them most to hear?
We don't have to settle, right? We don't have to settle for something that's not working for us. We don't have to settle for, that part of our relationship is just over. And if you're in a situation where that feels very far away, like even the open communication that we're talking about here feels like really far away, getting help, sometimes, like, I think, Lucy, when you're trying to translate for Gino?
Yes, Gino.
The hats and this hat and you come to me and you've got this hat on and then this is hat. I mean, having a third party who can translate and be an ally to both people can be incredibly helpful. I mean, I'm biased, but I think therapy can really help. And people, by and large, couples wait for way too long to get into therapy. I mean, we're not going to be having, parents are not necessarily going to be having super hot sex all the time. A lot of times after parenthood, it's warm sex. It's if what you're having is pleasurable and, lovely and warm, it's like the stuff that keeps the lights on, that's great. And then every once in a while you have really hot sex, you're doing really well. That's great. So realistic expectations about what's possible with life and kids and all of the things. But if what you have is not making you feel fulfilled, it's possible to get something that's more fulfilling in your relationship.
I just want to talk to our single parents for a minute, Rebecca. The three of us are married, but some of our listeners aren't in partnership. Do you have tips for single parents seeking intimacy?
I mean, I think that this can be tricky, whether they're single parents by choice, whether they're divorced, or it can be challenging trying to date, trying to have a sex life while having kids is really, really challenging. I think that if you have a community that you can rely on, that you can have time away from your kids, because my friends who are single parents, one of the things that is the biggest barrier for them is actually having enough time to themselves that they're able to think about making time for somebody else in their life, because the parenting gig, it can be all consuming. And so finding, if you don't have family support, which a lot of people don't, figuring out how you can get some community support, figuring out how you can get support so that you can do your own self-care and then think about what kind of relationship, what kind of connection are you longing for? It may not be a long-term partner. And, that's fine. There's all kinds of different arrangements out there, but actually creating enough space for yourself so that you can kind of have the space to dream up what it is that you actually want in a intimate relationship.
Rebecca, we would love to know how our listeners can find you. Do you have a website, Instagram, anything? Please go ahead and plug away.
My website is RebeccaEudy.com. And they can find me there. I'm a practicing couples therapist in the state of Massachusetts, New York, and Connecticut. But I also do coaching. So if people live outside of those states and they have, something that they're looking for some support on, they can contact me through my website. And then they can also connect with me on Instagram. It's Rebecca Howard Eudy on Instagram. And then I also have a podcast myself, which I co-host with a pelvic floor physical therapist. It's called Under the Hood. And we talk about all things sex therapy and pelvic floor physical therapy. Our most recent episodes, we just did a 2-part episode on orgasm where the pelvic floor PT, Dr. Alex, went through from a pelvic floor. The orgasm is a pelvic floor event. What happens? And then, I talked about it from a sex therapy perspective. So we kind of do stuff like that as well.
And of course, your book.
And then, of course, my book.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us. We, gosh, I mean, you've changed Lucy's life and probably mine.
Yeah, you're so great. Thank you. Thank you for real-time help. Thanks.
It was truly my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Listeners, did you know we love hearing your amazing voices? You can leave us a voicemail with your questions, your thoughts, and your favorite turn-ons. We promise not to judge. Call us at 646-357-9318. You can also email us at careandfeedingpod@slate.com or post in the Slate Parenting Facebook group.
We also got to talk about Slate Plus memberships. You are an amazing community, and to the folks that are currently Slate Plus members, thank you so, so much. This is what keeps this show alive. It means the world to us that you are here and you are supporting us, because that's truly what you do. We can have ads, but they don't help nearly as much as having sustaining Playground members. That is you. So thank you again to all of our Slate Plus members. If you haven't committed to doing this yet, we hope now is the time you will do it. You get a lot of bonus across Slate's podcast and text networks, like no paywall on the Slate site. You can read everything. There's also ad-free listening on every podcast, and podcasts have amazing bonus episodes just for Plus members, including us. Lucy, what are we talking about this week on the Plus Playground?
I actually need advice from my friends. And let's just put it this way. I don't know if I'm ready to watch certain movies with my teen. So Zach and Elizabeth are going to give me their insight, and we're also going to give recommendations for movies to watch with teens that won't make you cringe, run out of the room, or feel like you have to throw up.
Get on it. Go to slate.com/careplus to figure out what movie Lucy is wavering on. Slate.com/careplus.
And that's our show. Wherever and however you're listening, subscribe, leave a rating and review, and tell your friends. If you want more parenting advice, you can find Care and Feeding, the column, on Slate.com. This episode of Care and Feeding is produced by Cheyna Roth. Micah Phillips is our video producer. Mia Lobel is executive director of podcasts for Slate. And Ben Richmond is senior director of podcast operations.
I'm Lucy Lopez. You can find me on IG at The Lucy Lopez.
And I am at Muzachary.
And I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. You can find me on Instagram at elizabeth.newcamp. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here on Thursday.
If you want more no-nonsense advice about parenting, relationships, money, and everything else life throws your way, sign up for the Slate Advice newsletter. A special thanks to our Slate Plus members. If you haven't already, consider joining. Slate Plus members get unlimited access to all of Slate's journalism and help support our independent reporting.